welcome to this week's session. I hope everyone is feeling well and healthy as always. You know, we always want to be feeling well, taking care of ourselves, and I am here to help us take care of ourselves at least once weekly. So yes, this week's session is not exactly a beginner session. I would say that if you've had some practice before, you know, maybe if you are relatively flexible, have ease of movement with the body, then you'll be fine with this one, but maybe not for your very first yoga session. But yeah, with that said, I think let's get going. Let's do this. We're going to start off in our Japanese squatting position. So we're sitting up on our toes. This pose can be very painful for some, but I assure you it has many benefits. It's good for the brain, good for the pineal gland, and really the only way to get used to it is to do it. So I invite you to challenge yourself today. Hold on to it as long as you can. If it becomes way too much, bringing the hands down onto your mat, and then we can tap through the feet, maybe wiggle, twist through the ankles, maybe wiggle through the toes, and then come back. So yeah, we're going to spend our time just becoming centered here, and then we'll obviously get moving. I will face you, but you can of course look long ways on your mat. So up on the balls of our feet, palms facing upward preferably, and if you'd like to incorporate a mudra here, I invite you to. Otherwise, just closing off the eyes and bringing your mind into your space. So really just centering the mind, bringing ourselves into this present moment, and leaving anything and everything that is not immediately in this space outside of this space. And you can decide what space you're referring to. If you're in a room, maybe inside that room. Maybe if you're outside like me, just creating a little bubble around yourself. Maybe this space just includes your body and your mat, and that's all. Once we've brought ourselves into our space, setting our intention for the practice ahead, and then bringing our minds into our bodies, making sure that the entire body is relaxed. We're not holding any unnecessary tension in the body. So we just check through the face, releasing the jaw, make sure the shoulders are back and down. Relaxing all down the arms, down the torso, down into the hips, and finally down into the legs, and relaxing the feet as much as we at least can. And then once we have the body nice and relaxed, we come to bring our minds to our breath. Simply feeling the body breathing, simply being aware of the breath, not forcing or changing anything just yet. Just being present with the breath. And then now starting to deepen the breath. Starting to take deep breaths into the belly. So as we inhale, we expand the belly. And as we exhale, allowing the belly to come in, really pushing out all the old and stale air out of the lungs. So with our breathing already, we're activating through the core. We're going to bring our hands down now, just to release a little bit through the ankles. We're not done with that pose. We're just taking a little bit of a break. So you can wiggle through the toes, twist through the ankles, tap through the feet, whatever you feel you need. And then we come back. So tucking under the toes, coming back. And then here, I'll face you again. We're going to go into our, from here we're just going to start stretching. So inhale, bringing the arms up. First, we're just taking a nice deep breath. Exhale, bring the hands down to the heart. And again, inhale, arms come up. And then we're going to interlace all the fingers except for the index finger. Index finger is pointing up to the sky. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, leaning over to the left side, stretching through the right side of the body. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Inhale, come up. If this is too much, you can come down onto the heels. Onto the tops of the feet. Now we're going onto the other side. So the hands are pointing over to the right side, stretching through the left side of the body. And then inhale, come up. And then untuck the toes if you haven't already, coming onto the tops of the feet. And then we're going to bring our feet over to the right side, to the left side, sorry. Inhale, grow tall. And then the hands also come over to the left side. So we're really stretching a little bit more into the right side of the body. And then inhale, coming up, swap. And then on our exhale, really stretching through the left side. And then inhale, coming up. I'm going to turn to face the top of my mat now. Inhale, grow tall. And then exhale, releasing the hands down onto the mat. Really stretching the fingers forward, reaching the bum down as close as possible to the heels. Taking some nice deep breaths. If you'd like to come up onto your fingertips, I invite you to join me. Really getting a bit of a deeper stretch through the shoulders here. Still reaching the fingers as far forward as they can go. Reaching the bum down to the heels. Taking deep breaths. And then release the palms down onto the mat if they aren't there already. Inhale, roll the spine, come up onto all fours, tuck the toes. And then we push our bum up into our downward dog, loosening through the backs of the legs now, stretching nicely, walking through the legs. You can also shift the hips side to side if you like. Whatever you'd like to just loosen the body a little bit. Breathing. And then all of us meeting now in stillness, pressing the heels into the floor, pressing the palms into the floor. Taking nice deep breaths. And then we're going to inhale, bend the knees, look in between the hands. Exhale, walk the feet up towards the hands. And then now we're in our forward fold. Grabbing onto the opposite elbows, just hanging here. And then release the hands. If your hands aren't on the floor, that's fine. Inhale. Exhale, bend through the knees. See if you can come all the way down. This may be harder for some than it is for others. And then coming all the way back up into our forward fold. Heel toe the feet out towards the outsides of your mat. We're going to come down into our yogic squat. Inhale, straightening again. Heel toe the feet together. And then we're going to come down again on our exhale. So we're just warming up through the legs slightly. And then inhale, straightening the legs, and then heel toeing the feet out. Inhale up here, and then as we exhale, we come down. And then inhale, come up. Heel toe the feet together. Inhale, come up halfway, so hands on shins, looking up, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, and then step or jump the feet back into your plank. Inhale up here. Exhale, we come down through our knees, chest and chin, or you can do your full chaturanga if you'd like. And then inhale, push the body up into our cobra. Exhale into our downward dog. Taking some nice deep breaths here. And then we'll get straight into it from here. So we're going to inhale, lifting up the right leg. Lift it up as high as you can get it. And then we bend the top knee and then try to stack the hips. So we're trying to stack the right hip on top of the left. Trying to get the right foot to touch the opposite butt cheek. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the knee into your chest. So you're going to come into your plank, bringing your knee into your chest. And then inhale, come back up. And then this time, don't bring your leg up as high as you can go. I want you to square off the hips. So the right hip and the left hip are in the same lines. Flex that foot so that the toes are pointing down towards the floor. Breathe here. And then bend that leg again. And then here we're just going to play with a bit of balance. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. You're going to bring the right hand over to the right foot. Do what you can. And then we release, bringing the foot up high again, and then bend through the knee once again. And then we're going to tip all the way over, coming into our wild thing. So allowing the right foot to come all the way down to the floor. And then pushing the hips up towards the sky. Imagine someone's got a strap around your hips and they're pulling all the way up. Breathing. And then we're going to come over into our side plank. So straightening the bottom leg and then either stacking the feet, having the feet one in front of the other, or we can release the bottom leg. So we're in our side plank, breathing. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to try to get the top foot all the way up to the hand in front. So you can get there however you like, or you can join me in lifting the top leg and then closing off and bringing the leg up as high as you can with control. And then we're just in a nice high lunge with an easy twist. Breathing. And then from here we're going to do something a bit strange. So we're going to turn the back foot onto its side, turn this front foot onto its side as well. You might want to move the foot slightly into what we call our revolved Skandasana in Sanskrit. Breathing. If you'd like to get a bit more of a stretch through the side here, you can push this leg. Breathing. And then we're going to come all the way around into our normal Skandasana. You can have your hands at your heart, you can have your hands on the floor here in front of you, or if you're advanced enough, bringing them all around into your bind. Breathing. For a long time I actually didn't know what this pose was called. In English we call it the half squat, so we would have been in our yogic squat, but the one leg is stretched out. I think I saw that it was called the seat of the Lord. I'm not sure. Just breathing. And then we're going to bring the hands back around, back up into our high lunge. Inhale up here, and then we take the foot all the way back up into our three-legged dog. And then you can release the foot all the way down to the floor, or if you choose to, you can hover the leg up in the air. So inhale up here, exhale coming down through your chaturanga or through your knees, chest and chin, and inhale up. Exhale into your downward dog. Taking some nice deep breaths before we go on to the other side. Making sure the palms are pressing down into the mat, feet are pressing down into the mat. And then we're going to inhale, lift up the left leg, lift it up as high as it can go, bending the knee, trying to stack the hips, trying to get the left foot to touch the opposite butt cheek. Inhale, exhale, bringing the knee into your chest. And then we keep the hips how they are. As we inhale, we come back up into our downward dog, straightening the top leg, flexing the foot so that it's pointing down towards the floor. And then we bend the knee. And then just playing with some balance here, or you can stay there. Do what you can. And then you can release the hand, bring the foot all the way back up, bending the leg, and then we pull the back leg all the way back and then releasing it down onto the floor into our wild thing. Really pulling the hips up towards the sky, breathing. And then gently coming into our side plank. Left arm up in the sky, breathing. And then we come into our lunge, so we're going to bring the left foot all the way up. You can choose how you're going to get there, or you can join me and just stepping it all the way up. Now we're in our easy twist. Taking some nice deep breaths, and then we come into our revolve Skandasana. Taking some nice deep breaths. And then we come all the way around into our normal Skandasana or half squat. Taking some nice deep breaths. And then bringing the hands around, coming back into our lunge. Inhale, exhale, step the foot off the mat, coming all the way up into our three-legged dog once again. take a breath here, and then you can choose to either hover or relax the foot onto the floor. Coming into our plank, inhale. Exhale, coming down through your version of choice. Inhale up. And exhale into your downward dog once again. Inhale, bend the knees, looking between the hands. Exhale, step, walk or jump feet all the way up to the outsides of the hands into our yogic squat. Taking some deep breaths. If you're familiar with the crow pose, if you have it in your practice, you can practice that now. Just of course, be safe. Otherwise, the rest of us will just stay here in our yogic squat, really just enjoying it. If you're in your crow pose, coming back down into our squat. And then all of us are going to come up slightly, so that our knees are just about in line with our hips. And then see if you can bring your hands to the backs of your feet and place them down. If you can't place them down, then just do what you can. We're just doing this to feel a nice stretch through the wrists. Maybe you'll feel a nice stretch through your back as well, through your hips. Really just to get a nice stretch through the entire body. And then you can play with placing the balance on your hands here, especially if you're familiar with your crow pose. Just playing with bringing the heels of the feet off. This will put a lot of pressure on the wrists, so if you have problems with your wrists, you can refrain from this one. Or rather just placing the hands on the floor, but not actually putting too much pressure on the hands. And then maybe some of us will even be able to take our feet off the floor. Just playing around here, and then you can come back up and into your squat. Just what's the word I'm looking for? Rotating through the wrists. You can also pull the wrists in the opposite direction. Breathing. And then we're going to gently come down onto our bums. And then you can just windshield wipe the legs. For some of us, our squat can be very intense on the hips. And then we're going to go into a boat pose. Before we go into our boat pose, just giving ourselves a hug. Hugging those knees in, giving yourself some love. See if you can balance the feet off the floor. And then we're going to bring the feet up so that our shins are parallel to the floor. And then our arms come in line with our shins. Really puffing out through the chest here. Often in our boat pose, we tend to dip into the chest, coming out and proud. We're just holding it here. If you'd like to advance your boat pose, you can straighten the legs. And then gently bringing it back in, hugging the knees in once again. And then coming a bit forward on the mat, we're going to lay down onto our backs. And then we're going to do some core work here, some ab exercises. So we're going to bring the right leg over the left knee, lifting the feet off the floor. You can either stay here, or if you can, you'll wrap the toes around the left ankle, and then the left arm underneath, right arm on top, and then we wrap the arms. Inhale, bring the legs and arms far from one another, and exhale, crunching up. So bringing the elbows and the knees close to one another, and we do it again. Inhale, come back. Exhale, crunching up. We're going to do it 3 times on each side. Inhale, coming away, and exhale, crunching up. And then swapping. So now the left knee is on top, right arm is underneath. Coming away on your inhale, exhale, coming up. Coming away on your inhale, exhale, up. And one last time. Inhale, exhale, coming up. And then untangle the legs, untangle the arms, and then just have the arms up above the shoulders, knees up above the hips, still activating slightly through the core. And if you'd like to challenge yourself here, you can straighten the arms and the legs. And then bring it back. Hug the knees in, give yourself some love. And then release the hands and feet all the way down onto the floor. Arms come up overhead. And then inhale, stretching up, up, up. Hoping that maybe we'll get a stretch through the core here as well. And then exhale, release, bringing the right knee in. If you haven't noticed by now, I like to end off my practices with twists. But just before we do the twist, we're going to stretch nicely through the backs of the legs. So straightening up the right leg, interlacing the fingers behind the leg. Inhale. On your exhale, sliding the hand up and pulling the top leg in as much as you can. And then exhale, release the head. The knee comes up straight above the hip. Left hand to the outside. Inhale and exhale, coming into our twist. The head is looking towards the right hand, which is outstretched next to the body. And then we're making sure that both shoulder blades are grounded on the mat. We always exhale into a twist, often into many poses, but especially in our twist because it helps us maybe go a bit further. So while you're holding your twist and as you breathe, just check that maybe with every exhale you can release the body a little bit further into the twist. So the knee can come a little bit closer to the floor while still maintaining both shoulder blades on the ground. And then inhale, coming up. Giving your right knee one last hug before we swap legs. So now we're hugging in the left knee. And at first we just straighten up the leg, interlacing the fingers behind the knee. Inhale. And then exhale, sliding the arms up and bringing the head up towards the knee. Pulling the leg as close as possible to the head. Taking some nice deep breaths. And then we can release. Knee comes directly above the hip, left arm out, right arm to the outside of the knee. Inhale, exhale into our twist. Making sure both shoulder blades are grounded once again. And then with each exhale, seeing if you can go a bit deeper into your twist. And then inhaling, coming up, hugging the knee in one last time. And then straightening the leg out. Arms are also laying open, feet are laying open, palms facing upward, bringing the shoulders down away from the ears. And we lift up the head, bring the chin in, and drop the head back down so we elongate through the back of the neck. And then we just relax. So in our Shavasana, or in our corpse pose, we really just allow the body to sink down into the floor, just completely letting go of the body. Hence it's called corpse pose. Just laying down, allowing your limbs to become heavy, surrendering to gravity. Then as we lay here, we just allow the breath to come back to normal. And we just scan through the body, relaxing through each and every part of the body. Once you relax through the body, we come to relax through the mind, and we do so by just being present. And in this present moment, all that we're really doing is laying on the floor and breathing. So we just pay attention to the breath coming in, coming out of the nose, feeling the belly as it rises and falls. And if you find that the mind starts to wander away from the breath, simply acknowledging that the mind has wandered and gently bringing it back to the breath. If you'd like to stay here for longer, please do. Otherwise, starting to wake up the body with me, wiggling through the fingers and toes, flopping the head and flopping the feet side to side. And then we bring up the knees, turn over onto our right side and push ourselves up. Bringing the hands to the sides. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands come down to the heart. And again, inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands come down to the heart. One last time, inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands come down to your heart. Take some time to reflect back on the intention that you may have set at the beginning of the practice. And to thank yourself for dedicating this time to your mind and to your body. And I thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Please let me know how you found the practice in the comments below. And yes, if you haven't already, please subscribe. As I'm sure you'll see, I post a video every week, different types of videos. And I'm open to requests, open to suggestions, so my details are down in the description. And yeah, have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye. Come. Hello, my big boy.